Hello and welcome to all the men and women of the West. I'm Joe here from Music McCo's Dan.
Hello and greetings.
And here we are back with Dragonslayer. I had to do it that way.
Yes.
It's an old tradition. Let's just discuss the stupidest part of the movie. Well, it's not actually a stupid part of the plot. No, actually it works. It's a good part of the plot. It just means the king's an idiot. That's what I mean. The king is stupid. The lottery. Let's pick out a name from a jar, and whoever's name of the woman that we select is sacrificed to the dragon. We'll just do this for the next 20 years. This will be fine. After all, the previous king tried to take an army up to a dragon and kill the dragon, and they all died. So the lottery on the face of it doesn't seem like as bad an idea, except for the fact that it's betting on the fact that, as the king puts it, well, I thought I had time on my side. He thought he could outlive a dragon. Okay, Dan's face palming again and looking like he's going to cry.
It's like, this is a stupid idea.
It's madness. It's Sparta. What the heck? Let's just sacrifice our daughters. We could always produce more. Yeah, but dude, who are you going to produce them with? You see, we have in vitro and... joke.
And honestly, they should have just taken the king and sacrificed him.
At some point, yeah. Problem is, the king is a gutless coward. And I say this with a lot of respect and understanding for those who are gutless cowards. You have more value than this guy. Because, while he's willing to say, all right, listen, we'll sacrifice some women to a dragon, but we're not going to sacrifice my daughter. Which, on the other hand, there's no other claimant to the throne. So, yeah. But the trouble is, when you start sacrificing every daughter you can find, every season or something, you start running into the problem of, okay, I can't sacrifice the heir to the throne, otherwise it'll collapse the kingdom. But what happens when you sacrifice the entire female generation that's supposed to be producing your children to the dragon? It just seems like this guy kind of backed himself against a wall. This is the sort of decision where you're like, okay, why isn't there someone to say, are you sure? It's still tame, Votre Majesté? But it's something that you'd find in classic folklore or mythology. It really does make a great story. I really like that the lottery's in the movie. I just find it this is a suicidal plan from a national perspective. Because a nation must have women. I mean, who are they going to get to make sandwiches for them?
Why not tie a sheep or something rather than...
Well, okay, now I'm going to have to side with the king. The sheep has value. The woman... I'm joking. Yes, I'm trolling here. Seriously, who's going to make the sandwiches and fetch them their slippers and their beers? Yeah, I should not joke. But actually, we all know that. Yeah. What I'm laughing at is a joke. But in terms of the actual, you can't sacrifice all the men because, who's going to do all the work? I'm actually talking from an actual serious perspective here. As far as women, who's going to reproduce? Now, in real life, we're seeing this sort of policy take place. Because, the battle of the sexes. It's been going on for, 100 years, and it's only managed to now collapse our societies. And they are collapsing, let's be honest. Those who say, no, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I'm actually going to insult whoever says, no, it isn't. You're an idiot. No, actually, you're an actual idiot, a sub 100 IQ moron, think about it. Go do some reading. The thing is, both men and women have their place in society. We need them both. If you remove one from the equation, you're kind of screwed. Like, okay, how's about if we if there was an actual dragon and we started sacrificing all the women in, let's say, Canada. Yeah, so Canada would collapse, let's be honest. Okay, let's say all the women in Quebec. Well, there's not going to be a next generation. You're screwed. Well, okay, you can float by for, like, one generation, you know what I mean? Like, because the current young girls will grow up. But then, when you start sacrificing them, there's no next generation after that. This is suicide. This is the kingdom committing suicide. And the king doesn't even ponder about it. Like, he never even considers the fact that he's destroying his own kingdom. And you kind of go, yeah, but, like, what's your plan B? What do you do when... Okay, let's say he can't outweight the dragon. What happens if... Like, bear in mind, this is something that the inciting event of the movie is that this is becoming such a problem that one of the villages sends out a party to request aid from a sorcerer saying, listen, we've been doing this for a while. Our demographics are screwed. We need help. So they've reached the point of basically throwing themselves at the mercy of an outsider and saying, yeah, our demographics are shot. Help. And you got to bear in mind, the king is a man in his 50s or 60s. He's been doing this since his 20s, apparently. So he's been doing this for like roughly 40 years. He kicked the can down the road and the bills come home and he's got to pay up. The trouble is, like, the kingdom is withering on the vine. He staved off the dragon, but at what cost? He didn't think of the consequences. And the consequences are dire. In a lot of ways, he probably should have ripped off the Band-Aid and sent for help to a good magician and just had him kill the dragon. But he's greedy, he's cowardly, and he's selfish, and he doesn't actually want to make sacrifices. And that's what would have been necessary to stop the dragon. Now, he made a deal with a dragon, and we all know what a dragon is actually a metaphor for. He made a deal with the devil, and look at what's happened.
He was the type that would, if things turned ugly, he'd be on first boat out.
Yeah.
He'd take his daughter, flee, leave the kingdom to burn.
Yeah, but the thing is, he did the equivalent of that on a policy level. Like, oh, well, I'm not going to be dealing with the problem in my lifetime. Yeah, but bucko, right after you croak, your people will die out. You committed genocide against your own people. What are you going to do then? Arguably, I see only one fate. This kingdom's going to actually have to go invade its neighbors to grab some women. Like the Sabine woman type situation with early Rome. He's going to have no other choice because, well, they're going to have no other choice because they're in a corner. Like, they have way too many men for too few women. And no society can survive with this sort of demographic. If, let's say, you look at Russian demographics, whenever I look at those, I'm privately just screaming in horror. From what I've seen, it looks like that. And it's like, holy cow, even Ukraine. It's like, you look at that and you go, wow. You know, this is there's going to be a total collapse. There is no white pill. There is no positivity. You can, like, there's no way of, kind of justifying it or white pilling your way out. Now, arguably, France, for example, in the 14th and 15th early 15th centuries, they had a total demographic collapse. It was a disaster. The Romans had a total demographic collapse at the end of the 5th century. Like, and I do mean total. But, demographics can pick up in later centuries. But it requires work. Women need to start having kids. Men need to, be taking up women. And the trouble is, in this movie, they're showing a kingdom that's at the end of its rope. And it's just like, wow, you guys really screwed the pooch. But it's not the men's fault. Like, from what we see in the movie, a lot of the men did try resisting as best they could to protect their women. It's just the king and his men who are lunatics, who are pure evil.
It's a situation where it's like, okay, she gets the lottery, she goes. The family's like, no, we're going to keep her inside. They send in the military to force the woman out.
Yep. Tyrion, the black captain, the black guard of sorts of the King's Guard. That's basically what he does all throughout the movie. He goes around, forcing it on people. And he enjoys it. He loves doing this to people. You're kind of left going, wow, dude, you've got problems. And the trouble is, this is going to bite him. Well, kind of. He digs a spear to the gut. It's kind of what he deserves. To quote one song, he had it coming. But he really takes a little too much delight in his job. But, maybe it's important you enjoy your work. And if you enjoy someone's work, you have to enjoy our work. That is to say, our work that's on Royal Road and all the fiction we have compiled there. Along with our crowdfund, which has succeeded, but you too can get a copy of some of our work. I did a great job segueing there. And don't worry, in a lot of our stories, dragons included. Lottery not included, though. So also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave us a comment maybe about how much you love us. Seriously. Dan is currently modeling for you, and he's trying to strike up a good pose. He's not looking good at it, but I can guarantee you. But he's trying. He's trying.
He's looking better than Joe.
Ouch. But that's because I'm not trying. So do please comment and subscribe and all that jazz. And share the video. Share. You get a cookie if you do.